What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Crypto Kindness channel. My name is Jeff. This morning, I am excited to be back in studio with the Grays Currency team. It's pTGC, and they are doing something that is going to blow people's mind if it works. There's always, it's crypto, so it's if. So I got to start every one of my streams with, this is not financial advice. It's just as likely that I'm wrong as I am right. And we'll see how things play out. But if you simply look at the chart of pTGC and start to understand what it's paired to and how it works, it's pretty exciting stuff. And right now with PulseChain heading in the right direction, we're actually back above SAC rate. PulseX is coming up. A lot of the memes are starting to pop. Teddy bear is one of them, which you'll want to be paying close attention to. It brings a lot of value in how the pTGC mechanism works. And we're going to learn about that today. So the goal of the call is to understand how pTGC works so you can understand why I say things like it is a 100x potential coin and it very well may moon. And there's other big people talking big. I'm not big. There's other people that actually have followings talking about pTGC, such as Moon King and Ian. So let's find out why. Let's welcome to the stream Coach X and pTGC, the alien. We don't have a face. We're just gonna have to assume this is the alien. What's up, guys? How are we doing this morning?
Doing great.
What's up, Crypto Kindness? How are you?
Oh man, having a great day. Other than the fact that it's like -7 degrees outside, but I'm inside. So it doesn't matter. Oh, dude, it's bloody cold. It is really cold. So hey, let's jump right in. I know I've got a meeting later. Some of you gentlemen have meetings as well. So I'm going to start with our alien friend. Will you please give me an elevator pitch on pTGC? What is it, and why should somebody listen to this stream?
Yeah, so I'll start out with what my goal was over a year and a half ago. So over a year and a half ago, I started working on pTGC, and ultimately the goal was to study as many projects that have been successful on BNB, on Ethereum, and try to build the perfect project. And that ultimately sounds like such a hard goal and a far-fetched goal. But when you set like a goal like that, you start to really get into each part of it and like, well, why did this fail? Why did this start going down? Like, why is inflation hurting this project? And you can really fine tune what you think are going to be tokenomics to make something successful. And that's literally what I spent a year doing when I came up with the tokenomics, the certain time we launched on PulseChain, the LP web, and also a lot of other factors in the background. So that's like what my goal was with pTGC. I know that sounds crazy, but I wanted to create the perfect token. And I believe I could be pretty close, and I hope that a lot of other people get to utilize what I created and possibly make them tons of passive income and a bunch of X's is the idea behind pTGC.
Okay, so first question I have, actually I'm going to point something out. As we're sitting here talking about how you believe that you have created the perfect token, I brought up the price chart on the screen, and it is showing a new all-time high. So you guys broke past the old all-time high. Yesterday you set a new ATH, and as we stand right now, pTGC has broken that resistance and is potentially going to be moving up another level. So congratulations. It looks like something you've done is working well. So you say you sought to learn from the better performing assets on different chains to build this. So what type of tokenomics, is there a secret sauce that you unlocked that we can learn about in pTGC? And Coach, I think you're going to have to take over because it looks like our alien friend just got abducted. That's the thing.
Okay, I can answer that quite well. So With the tokenomics, I'll just give you the basic game theory behind that, and then PTGC, did you hear the question, or should I just keep on going on with the answer?
I missed the question. Sorry, I'm getting a ton of calls right now. You could ask again, or Coach, you can just keep answering.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. And once you hear what he's saying, you might kind of figure it out.
Yeah. So there's a 5% buy, 5% sell tax. So 1% of those percentage goes to holders. And reflections of pTGC. So basically, it's just dripping into your wallet. Also, there's going to 1% for stakers. So essentially, for a DAO to operate and work and function, you're going to have stakers. Also, what stakers use is it also helps up support the price. What can we see this in? Hex. What can we see this in? Kind of Zen, not really, but that's the whole mentality about staking. But also, there's voting. There is being a part of the community. There is making proposals where the polls should be going which way or another. And then that leads us to the next tokenomic thing, where it's 2% goes to the DAO fund, and it comes in as Pulse. So it doesn't come in as pTGC, it comes in as Pulse. So when we utilize this Pulse, what we've actually done, so our first cycle, when we did a 36,000% in less than 1 month, we gathered maybe a little bit more than $500 million valuation of Pulse, and basically we're injecting it into buying burns, adding it to liquidity, and what we're going to be doing it now this time is actually injecting those Pulse funds in opportune times. Maybe if there was a nice pullback of, essentially our first pullback was about 80%, but what else has actually dropped about 80% about 13 different times before their 10,000x type of run up hex. So that's when it comes to the buy and burn mechanism, we have a Hulk. We have a very benevolent individual or people surrounding the project that are going to do exactly what the proposals are said to be done. Also, there's a 0.5 on every single buy and sell that actually goes to the burn address directly. And then, so that's happening. And then plus, at the same time, there's 1% to the holders, which our biggest holder is the dead address. And the dead address also receives reflections. So instead of thinking about it, one of only 0.5% is actually getting burned, actually it's actually a bigger percentage because of that biggest whale holding, I think it's roughly valuation, I think it's $400,000 in that. If we look at the statistic page, we could actually come and understand what that number is. And then also 0.5 actually goes to that V1 pool, which only can be abstracted from pTGC holders. So the last run up when we hit the $6 million market cap, our liquidity was maybe $220,000 in that V1 liquidity pool. And now we are, we have $442,000 into that liquidity pool. So that is $150,000 or $150,000 more into that B1 liquidity pool. And then plus we have a teddy bear liquidity pool.
Okay, and I want to stop you right there. You said something that I want to learn a little bit more about. So there's staking with pTGC, and staking pays out rewards. So what is the yearly inflation of pTGC? Where does the inflation come from? Is that a 3.69? I'm sorry, say that again. Zero inflation.
Zero. We're hyperinflationary.
So it's a fixed supply coin.
Mm-hmm.
that is hyper deflationary, but stakers are getting paid out. So where does the, I mean, we're using the word inflation. Where do the staking rewards come from? Alien, do you want to answer that for us?
Yeah. So I'll tap on to that also with an answer to what I believe your question was, is what I tried to create was a project that is completely sustainable. And a lot of times rewards are paid out in inflation. And what inflation does is it actually starts hurting the price at a certain point, because you're constantly having more and more tokens coming onto the market. If you have more and more people buying, that inflation doesn't tend to hurt the price that much. But if buying starts to slow down, the inflation's power really starts to build up on the project, and it starts creating the project to go down. So what I tried to do is figure out a way to pay out high APR, just high rewards, with zero inflation. So when we're paying out the rewards, we pay out those rewards with every buy and sell from a human. But what I also figured out was I could pay out rewards also with trades from arbitrage bots on the PulseChain network. And these arbitrage bots aren't put on PulseChain by me. These arbitrage bots have been put on PulseChain by the PulseChain devs themselves, fixing the price of every liquidity pool that's on PulseChain. And they've been talked about many times in the streams by Richard Hart. They're the AMM bots.
Okay.
So when I launched...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Please finish. Nope. Please finish.
Okay. So when I launched, I made sure to build a bunch of LP pools to give these AMM bots a lot of liquidity pairs to trade in. And every time these AMM bots make a trade, they have to pay the fees that we have associated with the token, which makes it so our stakers and holders get even more rewards. It's, I believe, double. So that's how we're able to pay the high APR with staying a completely deflationary asset. And I believe this is the first time it's been done like this in crypto's existence.
So you're leveraging the AMM bots, which are going to be buying and selling all of the time anyway, to keep price essentially at parity between all of the different exchanges. You're leveraging those bots to make the buys and trades that are needed to fill essentially the staking coffers.
Yeah, not only reward stakers, they're also buying and burning our supply. They're also adding LP, and they're also filling our DAO for buy and burns at strategic points. So they're helping with every metric of pTGC. And the awesome thing about that is a lot of projects, going back to the sustainability thing, is when buys from human interaction start to slow down, it starts hurting the project. But we've put something into our project that isn't reliant on human interaction. So our utility that we built into the protocol is not even, it doesn't even matter if a human interacts with it. And I believe that's one of the first utilities that have ever done that also, because even when a project has utility, that utility requires a human as well. But our utility is based on just PulseChain functioning and being fully decentralized.
No way. So, okay, that's really cool. So this makes a whole lot more sense now, because when I'm looking at the pTGC chart, actually, interestingly enough, when you look at any chart on PulseChain, you see so many of these like little dinky buys, this $1.25 buy or this $4.41 sell, 71 cents buys, $4.14 sell, 57 cents buys. Like, who is doing that? I've always wondered that. Like, who's making these tiny little buys? And of course, I look over to the right here and I see the little bot indicator. And it's all these bots that you're saying, the AMM bots, although interestingly enough, this 57 cents buy wasn't an AMM bot. Or maybe it was, maybe there's a difference. But so you're saying, if I understand you correctly, all these little buys and sells that I'm seeing in this trading chart are actually the bots doing the work for us.
Yeah, most of those are the AMM bots. Those symbols are for AMM bots and smart contracts. So
Okay.
for an example, pTGC has 3 smart contracts working on top of it. So some of those buys are our smart contracts, but most of them are the AMM bots. And yeah, all they're doing is when pTGC's price fluctuates in one pool, they just go and fix all the other pools by buying and selling the pool that's moving. So if in one pool the price goes down, it starts selling the other pools and buying up the one that went down. If pTGC in one pool starts going up, it starts selling the pool that went up and starts buying up the pools that are not going up. And the crazy thing about this is we don't even need pTGC to move. So since we've tied with all these other big projects on PulseChain, I'm going to use Teddy Bear as an example. When Teddy Bear starts to move, pTGC, since it's bonded via Hart's Law with it, will start to move in that liquidity pool. And then the AMA bots have to fix the pTGC price in that liquidity pool. So then they start fixing all the other liquidity pools with that liquidity pool. So we make money when anything moves. And that's the most beautiful thing about our utility is it literally doesn't require a human interaction. If anything on PulseChain moves, pTGC makes money. And honestly, I still am trying to find a protocol that has made a utility that doesn't require a human interaction. Like usually it's a certain thing that they created that is a product that they're supplying to a user. But our user is the AMM bots that Richard Hart's devs put on the PulseChain, and it's just super awesome, and it's working great.
I don't even know what to do with this information. It's so cool.
So
hold on, Coach. I just want to point out what I've got on the screen. Absolutely, I want to hear what you have to say, but just kind of giving a visual to what our pTGC friend just said. On the screen here, I'm showing all of the different pairs that pTGC has in liquidity pools. And we've got Wrapped Pulse. Teddy Bear is the second biggest pair that the protocol has. So right now, those two, Pulse and Bear, are doing really well. They're going up, 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 and it's dragging pTGC with it. I can see we've got pairs with Atropa, Hex, DAI, TSFI, Wrapped Bitcoin. So you guys are going after all of the, I see that you're kind of focusing on the Atropa ecosystem, it looks like. Is there something that you learned from the Atropa ecosystem that helped maybe put the final pieces together to make pTGC successful?
Yeah, so I was really watching the Atropa ecosystem before I launched pTGC, and I noticed a lot of people talking about how there was an Atropa bot. And then I really wanted to study this bot because it was protecting the price of Atropa. And I really quick realized there was no Atropa bot. It was the AMM bots fixing the price from all the other liquidity pools. So when I put that together, I realized that if they're playing the same game I want to play, wouldn't I want to be bonded to them? Because X's via Hart's Law, we will do X's. And if they have a lot of volume, then we'll have a lot of volume. Because for this web to really work, you want to be pairing with as many things as possible, with as big as pools as possible. So if you look at all our pools, we got Teddy with over 100K, PDI with over 25K, and just so on and so forth. The bigger we can make these pools and the more we have is just more opportunity for AMM bots. The more money they're able to move, the more places they're able to move. And the more places and the more money we can let them move is the stronger the pTGC machine runs. So a lot of protocols, as time goes on, they become weaker because they become fragile at the top. There's a tipping point of where people are going to start selling. But PTGC actually works the quite opposite. As our LP pools grow, as our web grows, as our tokenomics add to the protocol, we become just stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's just a crazy machine to think about.
Wow. All right, Coach, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were going to say something. I was too busy being excited.
Well, I'm going to make you excited even more. So
Excited-er?
Yeah.
Nice.
So to give you a thought, or kind of like a food for thought about how things can go up without any kind of human interaction. So with our amplifier tokens, so Burn, Liquid, 808, and Energy, each one of them went up at least 80 to 110%, and in a week period of time. The same kind of time when pTGC was going up as well. But guess what? Each one has about a liquidity pair of about 45,000 to all the way up to $100,000 in liquidity tied to those tokens. And these market caps were very small. So I'll give you an example for Burn. So Burn was at like maybe a $42,000 market cap. And I think right now it's sitting at 80 to almost $100,000 market cap. So it went up 100%, but with the volume aspect of in regards to the polls in that pool, it was only bots that were actually dragging up the price, because the tie between those pools and Hart's law, that's exactly like, people don't believe in Hart's law, but we've showcased it, and also the trophy ecosystem has showcased it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, Tree City West is with us this morning. Good morning. Glad you're here. Says about 2 months ago, I locked $20 of pTGC until May 2024, and now it's worth 185. So it's going up, and people are earning rewards because price goes up, and they're getting staking payouts, which are essentially being funded by AMM bots. That's the one thing that kind of blows my mind about all this is how are the AMM bots? I mean, just because I don't know anything, I feel like, why are they paying a 5% tax? That doesn't seem like something that would be normal. How did you know where to put that number that the bots would still pay for it, but also be big enough to float the ecosystem?
Yeah, so really they're going to pay the fee if there's money to be made. So all they're looking for is a profitable transaction. So for, let's say if we had a zero tax token, there would be a lot more opportunities because the price difference could be a difference of 2%. But with pTGC, they need a price difference of technically over 5%, because 5% of the profit is technically going to the pTGC ecosystem.
I see.
Yeah, so that's all they're really looking for. So there would be probably even more movement if we were a zero tax token, which ultimately the whole Atropa ecosystem is. But the difference is then you don't have anything that's supporting the underlying value of the protocol by these AMM bots. They're just moving free range. They're getting to move all this money around with no fee. So nothing's going back to the protocol to benefit it.
Gotcha.
So
that makes
when
sense.
I saw them doing all this, it's kind of like I go back to like a businessman mindset. Like when you see money moving, how can you put yourself in front of it? And I saw money moving and I said, I'm going to put pTGC in front of this, and pTGC is going to rake in tons from this.
That makes all the sense in the world. In any transaction, if you can get in the middle of it and capture some of it.
Yeah. It's kind of like back in the day when credit card processing became big. And you know, the people who got in credit card processing back in the day are just absolutely loaded right now. And all they're doing is taking a 3% fee every time you go into the store and use a credit card to make a purchase. And that 3% really starts to add up. Well, I like to think of PulseChain as when credit card processing machines just first came out. When credit cards first came out, everyone was like, oh no, I'm not using that piece of plastic, and you know what I mean? And then within a year, everyone was using it, and those credit card processing companies were just making 3% everywhere. So PulseChain's at that beginning stage, in my opinion. Sooner or later, everyone's going to come over here, and those AMM bots are just going to go wild. And then pTGC is just going to get to charge it every time it hops into our pools.
So what's so fun about this is that, first of all, huge shout out to Coach. I'm very appreciative that he kind of clued me into pTGC was a thing about 2.5 months ago, and I fortunately was smart enough to do something about that. And now the more I listen to you guys, I'm like, wow, that could have been a really good decision 2.5 months ago. We'll see what the future holds. Yeah, this is crazy excited. And honestly, I think if I just went into business for myself, streaming about pTGC, I would do really well, because every time I talk about it, Shaka Vibes drops some pretty big super chats on the stream. So that's going to be my new business model. That's how I'm going to get some of the transactions coming in. What's up, Shaka Vibes? Thank you for being here today. And thank you for your most generous super chat. Shaka Vibes says, for those that get excited about buy and burns, wait until you participate in a project that buys and burns a fixed supply, pTGC. I would almost add to this, wait until you participate in a project that buys and burns a fixed supply with a market that doesn't even require human buyers. Is that what I'm understanding correctly? They're just like, if everybody that was in pTGC said, I'm going on vacation for 6 months and didn't interact, nobody bought more, no new people came into the ecosystem, and at the same time, nobody was selling, they're just all on vacation. There would continue to be price action as the AMM bots arbitrage between all of the different liquidity pairings that you have set up. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah, price would continue to go up as long as like PulseChain didn't take a huge dip or anything like that, because we are tied to PulseChain.
Sure.
So yeah, as long as PulseChain stayed there too, yes, our price would continue to go up and there'd continue to be volume.
Well, there's going to be 90% pullbacks. That's a thing. But during those 90% pullbacks, the AMM bots are still going to be trading back and forth, which will still be fueling the staking rewards, the DAOs, and the buy and burns. So any action is good action, yes?
Yeah. So if it's a buy or a sell, everything and everyone pays into the ecosystem and creates a sustainable ecosystem for new people to come into. So even if you got in early, even if you get in a year from now, the model is it's always going to be a sustainable ecosystem to get into. And
okay.
Yeah.
So sounds fantastic. Seldom do things ever go actually as planned. So what is the failure point of pTGC? It sounds like there's always going to be bots buying and trading. How does pTGC fail? Is there a rug pull? Is this liquidity burned? Is it not locked? Can aliens come in and take it away? Like, I want to know the downside risk to pTGC. What is the failure point?
Yeah. So the liquidity pool is 100% burned, or 99%, 93%, or 97% burned, or something like that. The cool thing about that liquidity pool, in the last run-up we had, that liquidity pool is ever growing, and it's always locking itself via the smart contract. So in our last run-up, our liquidity at the same levels was 50% of what it is now. And that's all based on the smart contract constantly adding to it. So as time goes on, that liquidity pool will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow, even if the price of pTGC stayed the same. Obviously, if price of pTGC goes up, the LP pool also goes up because of that. But the amount of LP tokens in that liquidity pool is ever growing. So there's constantly more LP getting added for the holders of pTGC. And what is the other side of that LP pool is Pulse.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, on a normal project, most other projects, want people to provide LP. I honestly think the complete opposite way, because then that LP isn't the protocol's LP, that's a single person's LP. And why that is important, in my opinion, is when your protocol owns the LP and it's all burnt and locked, every time there's PLS put into that LP, the only way that PLS can come out of that LP pool is with pTGC. So it's creating a constant growing vault for pTGC holders. And if you're a pTGC staker and you're just constantly getting pTGC as a reward, what's more important than an ever-growing vault of PLS that you can access at any time? If people owned that LP, if people own that LP, as price goes up and you add, let's say you were holding that LP, you're the 100% holder, and pTGC is going great, tons of people are putting PLS into that pool. Well, you could just go and pull that entire pool at any time. That's technically all your PLS. That's not pTGC's. But since we created a pool that's 98%, whatever it is, owned by the protocol, it's burnt and locked, obviously, can never be taken away. That PLS is only for the hands of pTGC holders. So, and this goes for all our LP pools for the most part. I think most of them are all burnt and locked. So when you're in pTGC, it's pretty much a diversified portfolio of everything that's awesome on PulseChain. So if you don't even know what to pick, you could literally just pick pTGC and be like, wow, I have my foot in every single awesome product on PulseChain. And no one can take those tokens from me. Those are always accessible by pTGC holders only.
That's a really good point. I actually see Coach smiling about that. So you guys are, based on that statement, I'm going to ask a follow-up question, and maybe Coach, you'd be the best one to answer this. Are you continuously looking for new projects that are happening or popping off on PulseChain to provide, to create liquidity pairs for, so that way you can harness some of the energy? And the question came in more specifically with what's happened. Maybe I'll be able to find it. Anyway, so Blaster is a new meme coin on Pulse that is blasting off to the moon, actually giving Teddy Bear a good run for its money right now, is to potentially the best meme coin on PulseChain. Blaster's doing well. Also would be curious about like HOA. HOA has a huge community, a huge presence. Do you guys have a liquidity pair with HOA? Are you, this is a lot of questions in one, I guess, but so Blaster, HOA, and the next question is kind of like, what are you using to determine what the next liquidity pairs are that the DAO is going to vote for?
So basically, like when we first started, we had the notion and the thought process that we're going to have like Twitter spaces and have builders come on to our spaces, kind of like shilling their project to add liquidity and burn it. Why we like kind of like pivoted away from that point and situation is like, what if we buy and burn about $2,000 or $3,000 worth of LP with a project that maybe just went up and then went back down and then doesn't have any kind of alien tech like the Grays does, that only goes up and right. Was to say it kind of like draws an anchor to the whole system a little bit.
Okay.
But not really, because we're so tied to Pulse and Teddy Bear and Shrub ecosystem. But yeah, all those things have been thought of, and at any time, anybody who's the top like 100 staker, they can actually go into the DAO, make a proposal, And the community basically is going to come down to the conclusion, yes, I want it, or no, I do not want it, because it comes with a 65%, what is it, 65% like yes rate to actually pass the proposal through. And funny to talk about Blaster and Blast, but their community there's a lot of individuals in that that new growing community that are pretty big pTGC holders as well, and people have already reached out to me saying, this is my idea with Blastor and adding liquidity to pTGC once the Blaster tax is reduced a little bit. To I think it's to a 0.0. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but like in regards to HOA, like I don't think we should be buying that right now because it's at a all-time high, but and adding liquidity, but yeah, they have a great community, and they have a great NFT marketplace over there in HOA, and there's a lot of individuals that are pretty hyped, so. But at the same time, there's certain things that we look at too, as well as as a team, and knowing me, I like doing blockchain digging, and sometimes there's projects that we don't want to tie ourselves to because I see red flags, or PGZen sees red flags, or a community member does. So that's what I would say to that.
So if I heard you correct, just a little recap on that is that the risk of creating a liquidity pair to something too soon is that it's an up and dump, and then you're tied to an anchor because you burn the LPs. So once it's created, it's created. You can't remove it. And then the other kind of, so you want to get in early, but you want to get in early on something that's going to be sustainable. And then the other risk, I guess, with HOA is the example. I don't want to say risk, but just observation, is that while, yes, they've got a huge community and a lot of momentum behind them, creating the LP now at an all-time high isn't a good play either, because there's inevitably going to be a pullback at some point, and you want to balance the LP pairs that you're creating so that they continuously bring value.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, good. So which one of you guys gets to do all of the analysis on new things that are launching on PulseChain or sustainable projects, like to figure out what the next LP pool is? Do you like memes, or do you like long-term things that are going to be around, like perhaps liquid loans or something like that?
TGZen, you want to take this, or you want me to?
I could talk. Obviously, Coach probably looks at other projects than pTGC way more than me, because I mainly just focus on pTGC. So he mainly will bring ideas up to me like, hey, what do you think of this one? And then I'm like, okay, let me look at just this one and on PulseChain a day, because that's kind of his realm that he succeeds in. So that's definitely one leg of coaches that I play on, because I don't look at other projects too much, and obviously that'll create me missing a few here or there, but I only have so much of me to go around. But I forget where I was going with that, but the checks and the balance. Yeah, the checks and the balances is we don't want to pair with something, even if it's an awesome project, when it's at all-time high, because via Hart's Law, if that project starts to come back via retracement, which happens with every awesome project, it's going to add to a retracement of pTGC. So as far as the HOA one, obviously, I wish I made a pair with that at the bottom. You know what I mean? But I can't get them all. Just yesterday, the team made a pair with the Ink token, which is an RH token, RH ticker, and
Smart.
I saw PulseChain starting to move. At one point, that was $80, and it was $1. So we just made a little pair with it real quick. We're like, you know what? Let's see if this starts to move. Literally the same day, it moved up like 50%. And we're like, oh, okay, that worked. Cool.
I mean, that's a good play because you caught it at the bottom. Its inflation has dropped precipitously, and it could go up from here. Oh, look at this. Apparently there's a kindness candle happening right now, which is very common, by the way. Anytime people stream with me, there's always a candle.
Hey, it happened last time. Remember
It did. Exactly. I need to front run my own streams. You'd think I would have learned this by now, but yeah. Okay, so what's new? I know there was a couple things you guys wanted to talk about, something about some gears, some statistics page. I appreciate you taking time with me to kind of help me better understand the ecosystems, the game mechanics, basically the flywheels that are all essentially helping to fuel the main token, which is pTGC. But let's talk about something new. What do you want me to share?
You can go ahead, Coach.
So I'm going to start so we have a statistic page, which is actually, we got this idea kind of like from Titan X, low key. And
oh God, don't say that out loud.
but that's like where people are part of the team, and people who are building projects and builders, they always look at other individuals, other projects to bring the best things and bring different ideas to the whole, bring everything to light at the end of the tunnel. So like looking at the statistic page, you can actually see on it gets all the data and it shows the supply. So right now we have about, 33% in staking.
Yep,
and then we
33
have
staking. We've got 31 staked and locked. So this is locked versus just regular stake. So there's a time period to this. Burned. Oh, wow, this is always going up. 8% has been burned. I think last time I streamed with you guys, it was about 6. Liquidity pool holds 6.4%. And what is this purple? It's just a random held. What does that mean? Like liquid, not staked?
It's liquid, yeah.
Okay. And then over here, it emphasizes the floor price of pTGC as it rises. Or, no, that's an assumption. Tell me what this means, Coach. Floor rising.
So basically, it's kind of like just trying to put all the data together of what it's burned out of supply, and you can see like on a daily type of or a 10-day channel of how it's actually operating and working.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
A little public feedback for you. I would consider making this chart a little bit darker because it's kind of hard to read with the coin flipping in the background. I like the transparency with the coin in the background. Just maybe drop that a couple shades darker so you can see it a little easier.
Yeah. What's that showing, Crypto Kindness, is that's showing in a chart, in a graph chart, are burning on a daily basis.
Oh, so this is the burn.
Yeah, that's the burn. We're changing the name actually of the title right now because I thought that was a cool title of like explaining for everyone like, hey, as we buy and burn more tokens, our floor of pTGC is rising, but a lot of people don't understand the title. So I'm going to change the title to just TGC burn graph, but that's all it is. It's a line graph that's showing pTGC getting buy and burn, and you can see the days that there's obviously more buy and burning than other days. And really the cool thing about it is I think people in crypto forget that there's just so many other graphs out there than just price.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And as long as your project, if you like add up, like there's constant LP graphs, like if you create graphs for a lot of other metrics than just price, you can actually see in real time how sustainable a project's going to be. So that's just a line graph showing what I think is an awesome metric of pTGC, that we're just buying and burning supply every day, no matter what, in every transaction. And that graph symbolizes that.
That's a fantastic observation. So real quick, I'm going to share with people how to get there. If you simply go to the Grays currency. Its website is pulsechain.thegrayscurrency.com. You can find a link to that off of the PulseTGC Twitter page. And then it's up here to the right. It's also a touch hard to find with the coin bouncing around, but it's TGC stats. Click on that, and that brings us to this new stats page. And it's a great page. I really like it. You did touch on something that Titan has done very well, which is their stats page, making everything accessible to one location. And I think that adding this to your homepage was a fantastic idea. So bravo to that. Additional measured stats down here, total TGC burned till now. I would maybe say to date, 8.03% projects burned in the next 6 months, projected burn, excuse me. You're projecting almost a 3x in burn in just 6 months. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What goes into this calculation is what I'd love to know. Yeah.
So there's two calculations there. There's the percent calculation, and then there's the dollar amount calculation as well. What's that is taking is the time that we've been around, and then just projecting if we stay on the same rate, that's what it's projecting we're going to be at in 6 months. There's a lot of things that go into play that is going to play into that. So like, obviously, if price just continues to go up, we're going to burn more dollar value, but less percent of the supply. But if price goes down, we're going to burn more percent of the supply and less dollar value. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. You buy more when the price is lower. So sometimes the dip in price is actually a good thing.
Oh, it's in PTGC. It's a hella good thing. It just
I love it.
How it's designed is it's not going to happen like too much. So when dips come, I would look at it as an opportunity because the protocol itself looks at it as an opportunity. Like for an example, the last dip we have, obviously all the stakers were getting rewards. Well, all those rewards 6x'd since this last pump. So every single reward I was getting on a daily basis via our dip, I 6x'd all those rewards. So I pretty much DCA'd into PTGC without even buying.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
What is this total TGC earned tab over here? Do you need to collect your wallet or connect your wallet to see that, or what is that?
Yeah. So for that one, to auto populate, you have to connect your wallet. And all that does is show you in real time the amount of PTGC you've earned in total and what that dollar amount is at current price.
Got it. Okay. That's cool. That's an excellent add to the page, guys. I applaud that very much. Let's see what else is exciting though. I believe I see a now live Gray's gear. What's this all about?
Yeah, so one of our founders created a Gray's gear page. It's just a ship on direct company, but it's a way for if anyone wants Gray's gear, if they want to show off, we wanted to create a place to where it's not some random person trying to mooch off the community. That was specifically made by one of the founders, and it's a place to get t-shirts, cups, mugs, whatever you wish.
Oh, cool.
Of PTGC. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Profits go to the liquidity pools, I assume?
Not much has been sold yet, but it's going to be for buy and burns.
Oh, I was kind of half joking. But that's hilarious.
No, he said he's going to be using it for buy and burns. And right now we're still at the beginning stages, so there's not too much purchasing. But obviously, as something becomes more successful, people become more willing to buy little things here and there to support not only the founder, but the whole ecosystem with a product itself, not just owning the token, but maybe wearing a t-shirt around or drinking coffee out of a cup or whatever.
Oh, it's fun. I enjoyed that. I usually get a cup or hat. Of course, you gotta get some hats, man, for us bald people. Let's take a look. Okay, we're running up on about an hour here. I want to give the chat a chance to ask some questions to our founders here today. DeFi King says PTGC might do 100x just based on the liquidity pairs alone. Really doesn't need any more buyers to get there. Buying the core asset only right now. Yeah, absolutely. The core asset is where it's at. Especially if you can leverage PTGC to get in on the teddy bear run up. That's fantastic. Okay, question coming in from Orion. Do you expect, or is it a goal for PTGC to reach parity with the price of PLS? Ooh, good question.
I've ran that before. That would be awesome. Obviously, we're getting closer.
What were you gonna say, Coach?
No,
it's like a 10x away or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a 10x. And then plus we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
It's possible.
Everything is possible.
So how I like to look at it is PLS is like a big pool and PTGC is a cup due to its size. So as far as a metric of filling up the cup, if you dump a gallon into a cup, it's going to overfill automatically. Right. If you dump a gallon into a pool, you won't even notice the raise. So that when you're getting into PTGC, you're actually getting into a more confined pool that's highly deflationary, that technically has the tokenomics to pump faster than PLS. But if PLS pumps, it just raises with it as well. So our goal is to slowly start creeping PLS price.
By utilizing the volume of trading that's happening within the PLS pool, that will benefit PTGC slowly but surely as a trickle up.
Correct.
The floor price, I should say.
Based on tokenomics, based on tokenomics, if you don't count in huge pumps and retracements, just like in a long-term outlook, we have the tokenomics to be moving in an upward path to PLS, because every time PLS moves up,
it's probably the most important thing that's being said right now. Yeah, breaking up a little bit, so we'll wait for him to come back. Coach, this question is the current market cap of PTGC. I'm looking at the PLS pair on Dex Tools, and it's showing the market cap is 6.6 million. Is that the total market cap, or is that just for the PLS pair? Do we need to add the market caps of all of the other pairs?
So that's a great question, because that's where I come in. I kind of like parroting like the whole kind of like mindset of I use the hallway message and like doing handshakes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This might be a little bit complicated, but at the same time, it's not. So if you look at the Pulse, that main pair, so that's going to be like where everybody's going to be looking at. The reason why everybody's going to be looking at that main pair is because it has the biggest pool. But if you go to, can you go to a different pair real quick?
Yep.
No, so we're at 6.6. Let's go to scroll down. No, not even Teddy. Scroll down a little bit more. Go to the PulseX pool for this example. So if somebody had some PulseX, you have a pretty good deal that you can come in and buy a bigger amount of supply. So essentially, what is that? So right now that's a $5.8 million market cap. So if somebody wanted to come in and buy so much PTGC from their PulseX, they would get what percent is that? Is that
it's 40, about 1/6.
6.
I don't do math in public on purpose.
Oh, okay. But like that's the thing. So and then go to another pool real quick, just real fast.
So you can, I mean, actually, just by looking at the different market caps within the trading system, you can do your own personal arbitrage and figure out which pool to buy in to get the best deal to get pTGC.
Yeah. So let's look at go to PUSDC.
PUSDC. Did we pass it
down.
already?
Yeah, you're past. No, go back down. Yeah, right
This
there.
one? Okay.
Yep. So there's 8. So that's like 5.9. So if you have some PUSDC, there's another opportunity to get more bang for your buck than essentially coming out of the Pulse pool. So like if there was a person that want to arbitrage out of PTGC, they would probably want to go through Pulse V1 pool since it's at a $6.6 million market cap instead of exiting out of this pool. So that's what I would say to that.
Interesting. So there's ways to find. Oh, we got TGZM back. He's bouncing in and out there. There's ways to find cheaper avenues to get into pTGC other than just going straight to the Pulse pair. You can go to some of the more obscure pairs and enter a better position than just going through the easiest trade. Now, one thing that is, I guess, important to know, however, is there's a lot of people that don't understand setting slippage to buy pTGC. And if you go farther down this list of tokens, whoops, do the taxes change? For instance, we know it's 5% on PLS. If you go down farther, are the taxes higher? Is it like 8% for TSFI or something like that you would need to set your slippage even higher? Coach, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I was muted.
Okay.
If you scroll down a little bit lower, you can actually, there's other projects that we're connected to, like, or scroll up a little bit. So like Super Stake right there, there's 5K, that's burnt liquidity actually. And they have a 6% tax on their PSSS or PSSH. That's the pool or token.
Okay.
One more up.
I'm stuck on stupid here. Oh, there we go.
But there's a 6% tax there, so you would have to raise your slippage to about 12% or 13% to get the transaction to go through, because pTGC has 5% tax, and then Super Stake has a 6% tax. Same kind of thing with our amplifier tokens. So it's basically a 10% spread, but at the same time, you're helping out the entire ecosystem too.
So it wouldn't be smart to buy a secondary token such as, let's just say 808. Even though, let's say the price, the ratio of how much pTGC you'll get for your 808 versus PLS, let's say it's 20% higher. But if you first go into 808 and then swap that 808 for pTGC, you're going to pay the sell tax on the 808, which is 6%, and the buy tax on pTGC, which is 5%. So you ultimately pay 11% for that trade. Whereas if you had just gone through the PLS pair, you're only paying the 5%. Do I understand that correct?
Yeah, you understand that correct, but I have a different kind of thought process with it. I just want to benefit the whole ecosystem, and the only thing I care about, this is my job, part of the team is I have a different kind of mindset when it comes to the ecosystem. Is I want volume. I don't care where it comes from. And then like what you're saying, like, oh, you're going to have to do like a 10% split from going from like pTGC to burn or 808 or whatever. I look at it in a different kind of lens, is when I'm trading my rewards into from pTGC to burn or liquid. So I'm looking at the type of thing I'm strengthening. So I always like talking about like the Hart's law and everything. I'm strengthening basically those floor prices to help move up that like the whole concept of Hart's law, because the biggest impact in the pools is going to be through the pulse pair. But if the was to say that if you sell into those different kind of tokens, you're strengthening the whole floor price of the whole ecosystem in general.
Got it.
Just bring more benefit for everybody. But I have a like TG Zen. Do you want to comment about that kind of question real quick? We are hitting our mark, but
yeah, we're running up on time. So,
Yeah, my bad. I didn't hear the question. If you want to ask
it. Okay, we can move past it. I think I answered it good.
I'm in and out of bad.
Sounds like it. Yeah. And we're up on time. I got to bounce. I've got a meeting. I know you gentlemen have meeting. Any last thing you want to leave the audience with, Coach, or TG Zen, about maybe what's coming, or just be here and enjoy the ride?
Be here, enjoy the ride. Also, I'm starting my my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel today.
Nice.
And I'm going to be dropping some major alpha that I found regarding in my thought process of, I think I found Richard Hart's wallet, or somebody who's really tied to Richard Hart. And I'm going to talk about a theory in which how we're going to pair all the PRC20s and ERC20s together. And I'm going to bring the facts to the stage, and you're not going to want to miss out, because I think I did the checkmate, and there's going to be a lot of coping and a lot of maxis going to be like, oh no, but it can never happen. I don't know. I don't understand liquidity. And it's going to be a pretty good mic drop moment. And
nice.
Yeah. But also we're going to be talking about like pTGC all the time. And it's going to be really cool from that side of things. So 5 o'clock, 5 p.m.
Shill, your YouTube channel, what is it called?
Coach X.
Coach X. Couldn't that just straight up Coach X, not Coach X Crypto, nothing like this?
For right now, I think it's just Coach X.
Okay, right on. Well, that is a mic drop moment. You're about to share some pretty sweet on-chain analysis that could help you guys build out a plan to make pTGC even more successful. Also, the more you know about crypto, the better off it is. So that's great info. Congratulations. I look forward to being a part of that. So pTGC, our alien from afar, thank you for being here this morning. Coach X, thank you for all of the information. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. None of this was financial advice, just a couple of people talking about things that they enjoy on the internet. And get out there, have a wonderful day, and be kind, everybody. Thank you.